You don't lose weight to get healthy. You get healthy first to lose weight. This was such an eye-opener for me, and it really started this whole process of really evaluating what I've been doing to lose weight and how I followed all the ways the world said I needed to lose weight without ever really inviting God into the equation. So once I started doing this and really studying biblical principles for health and knowing that God has a lot to say about our health, I started to see results, and I've been able to lose over 55 pounds now. I've been able to keep that off, and I've done it by looking at the internal parts of my life first, like my thoughts, my mindset, instead of the external habits, like the dieting, drinking water, exercising things first. Like I did those things, but I didn't do them first. And so now I coach women through this very same process. And I just want to give you an insider sneak peek into one of those coaching calls with permission from my client, of course. So let's go ahead and listen, where I'm going to be talking about how weight loss really starts in the mind. If at any point you're not seeing the results that you want, ask yourself, what are the behaviors that are keeping me over here in this spot that I don't want to be in? And then what are the beliefs attached to those behaviors? For instance, for the coffee thing, going to the coffee pot to fill my need for whatever it was, comfort, de-stressing, community, whatever it was to be with my coffee. So behaviors and beliefs are interchangeable. So I have to start there by going, okay, that's the behavior, but what's the belief? And so the behavior was drinking the coffee. The belief was, I have to have it. It makes me feel good. It's comforting. It keeps me going. It gives me energy, which was all a lie. It did not even give me energy. And I knew that, but I said it. Those were the beliefs I had. Okay. Those are the agreements I made. So beliefs and behaviors are interchangeable. So you're supposed to go back to the behaviors and look at what is it that's causing me to stay on the path that's going around the same mountain when the mountain I want to be on is 20 miles away. So how do I get off this mountain so I can get to the other one? That will lead me to the other one. That will get me to the one 20 miles away. So that's the thing. You got to go back to the behaviors. It always starts with behaviors, which also is beliefs. So remember those two BB words. Then you're going to go back again to the roots of those beliefs. Where did they start? Why are they there? And they may have nothing to do with the coffee thing in and of itself. It may not have anything to do with where your behavior is, but the root of it, it may not seem like it has anything to do. Let me say that. It does have something to do with it, but it may not seem like it. Look at your behavior and then start digging up the root of what's causing this, which is also the beliefs. And that roots is, what do you believe that's causing you to drive the behavior in your life that you don't necessarily want, or that isn't serving you well anymore, even if it's not that big of a deal. Drinking coffee isn't a big deal. I can drink coffee if I want to drink coffee. Who cares? I can drink it, right? Like it's not a big deal. I'm not sinning. I'm not going to go to hell for it. No, but it controlled my life in a way that I knew was unhealthy. So because it controlled me here, it had some kind of external thing attached to it that wasn't God, and I knew that. So that's why it's like you got to get down to the bottom layer sometimes, like that super deep stuff. And so going through the root of whatever it is and continuing to do this internal work before always looking at the surface stuff, like what I'm doing on the surface isn't working. And Dr. Berg, he talks a lot about keto stuff, and keto is fine if that's what you want to do, or intermittent fasting if that's what you want to do. It's fine, whatever works for your body. But what he said was so key for me to like shift out of, let me think about what I need to do for my physical body first instead of my mind, was he said, you don't lose weight to get healthy. You get healthy to lose weight. Whoa. So it's like, okay, first off, that was mind blowing. Second of all, what is it that you're doing in your life that's causing you to be unhealthy that keeps the weight on? That's why I said, we're doing this program in reverse. That's why all the habits, all the cool doing stuff that I'm going to really teach you. And I do start with it, up front too, some of it, because I want to get you going. But really, when you get to phase 6, you're going to be like, okay, these are the tangible, this is what I do stuff. But in order to get there, you got to start working up here first. So when he said that, to me, that equated, I need to get my sleep right. I need to balance my hormones. I need to start working on fixing and cleaning up the mess that I made of my body, even if it doesn't look like outwardly it's a big mess, but inwardly it's a big mess. Cortisol levels through the roof, like all the other things that who knows what's going on, right? Like, so getting all that stuff situated first, then my body will release the physical weight because I've gotten healthy internally first. So that's not just in our minds, but internally first. And it is in our minds too, of course. And so I want to share this other really important thing with you. Okay. So our cells, our body's cells are literally designed in a strategic way that God put us together. And it's amazing. Like I'm like blown away by the human body. It's why I went to school to be a nurse. And thankfully I didn't finish all that because it wasn't the plan God had for me. In our body, there's the cells, and in our cells, what they do is they open up and they release constantly all day long. They're doing this. They're opening up and releasing toxins, and they're shutting down and they're pulling in nutrients and closing. Okay. So they're opening to release the junk, and they're shutting constantly to pull in the nutrients and whatever else we need for our body. When your mind is angry, anxious, or you have bitterness inside, those three things chemically cause your cells. And this isn't even biblical. This is just science. And I'm like, okay, and this is biblical too, but it causes your cells to totally shut down, shuts them down. It's wild. So what happens is they stop opening back up and they stay closed. And so whatever toxins are in there stay in there, and the nutrients aren't coming in. So the toxins are staying in, nutrients aren't coming in. And then there's cancer. Then there's all these other issues in your life because the cells, hormonal problems, all the other things, they're not able to do their job because of what you're thinking. So of course it has to do with your mental health as well. So if there's something internally that you're battling, like maybe you have the relationship problems, maybe you have the stress of a job, maybe you have whatever else it is going on in your life, continue to go through those exercises, go back to those exercises again, go back to the workbook, pull it up, grab your journal, use that, to really ask God, okay, we dealt with that layer. What's the next layer? It's like, you're like an onion. Okay. So it's just peeling one little piece at a time, one little layer at a time till we get to the very center of what's going on inside of you. So it's not a one and done. Remember, it's just constant. So the problem is we're still focused on the outward. I'm drinking my water. I'm moving a lot. I've maybe have counted my calories for a while, or I've adjusted my eating schedule. All those things are great and fine, and we need to do them. But if we haven't dealt with the stuff that's going on inside of us first, those beliefs that drive the behaviors and the emotions attached to them, the agreements we've made according to all the other things, and the thoughts we have, those thoughts, like there's a bajillion thoughts going through our mind. I think 65,000 thoughts a minute or something like that. That's crazy. How in the world? You're like, no, I only thought like 3 thoughts. No, you've thought a lot. You just didn't know it. And so it's amazing. And when I shared that with my husband, when I learned that about cells, because I'm just like a body nerd, I like watch people on nutrition all the time to learn. And I love to know what God says about it. And so he says, that don't be anxious for anything, but in everything, through prayer and supplication, make your requests known to God, and the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and minds in Christ Jesus. That's one of my favorite verses, because worry, it says, give all your cares or worries or anxieties. That's including the cares of this life is what he's talking about, not just things you're worried about. Like we look at our lives in 3 levels. Okay. Our lives are made up of these amazing levels. There's this like really surface part of us. Then there's this mid ground. Okay. Like this middle ground of us. And then there's the deep, like the depth part. If you just think about our life like an ocean, okay, or something like that. So like the mid section of our life is the cares of this world. Okay. The surface level is just like the fleeting things we do every day, doing the dishes, doing the laundry, take the dogs out, feed the kids, all that kind of stuff. But the cares of life is that middle part of our soul that sits around and hangs around in there and weighs us down. And so Jesus talks about in Luke, I think it was, he talks about how not to, and I can't remember the exact way, I'd have to look it up. He said it, but he's warning us about in the end times, not to let the cares of life weigh us down. Okay. So I didn't understand that first. So I went on a really deep dive to figure that out. And that's why I was like, whoa. Okay. So the cares of this life is all the things that have happened to us, that someone has done, that maybe you're angry at your mother-in-law because she said something that was mean, or your kid did this, or your spouse said that, and you're holding on to it. But the cares of life is just those thoughts that you're always like, did I say the wrong thing? Am I an idiot? Do they like me? Like that's the mid the midlands that we live in. Okay. And that's the cares of life. So that's what it means in Philippians 4:6, when he says, cast all your anxiety or your worry or your cares, whatever version of the Bible you're reading, on him, and make your requests known, right? Like, cast all your cares on him because he cares for you. That's another one. Like, all your cares are the cares of life, all the things like that we carry around with us, like that we just hold on to. And that's why the verse in Matthew talks about, like, come to me, all you who are heavy laden and burdened, and I will give you rest, because my yoke is easy and my burden is light. And so we're yoking up like an ox together. Like an ox, if you think about back in the time when they were doing like plowing their fields, they'd put those big things around their ox to pull whatever those things are called, but they're called a yoke. Actually, is what it's called. They would put them around their necks, and they would put them 2 by 2 so that they could both pull the weight of the plow together. And 2 was better than 1. So he's saying my yoke is easy and my burden is light. So that means my yoke, that thing you put around an ox neck to pull the plow, which is so irrelevant to this day and time, but it's not, because we don't have to pull plows around with oxes anymore. But it's still something spiritual that we can carry around our neck, and it just like weighs us down. It's heavy, and we need that second ox, so to speak, to partner with. And Jesus is giving us that promise. So when we drop the emotional weight, the spiritual weight, the physical follows, because you don't lose weight to get healthy. You get healthy to lose weight. Okay, guys, so that's a little snippet of the coaching call I wanted to share with you. What do you think about that? About this idea of getting healthy first to lose weight, and not just trying to lose weight to get healthy? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. And if you're looking for a group of women who are on the same journey as you, trying to get healthy, trying to figure this whole thing out and do it from a biblical perspective, I want to invite you into my free Facebook group. The link's in the description below. And if you want to dive deeper into more about how thoughts really affect your weight loss journey, I'm going to link a video for you right here to go check out, and I will see you guys next time.